Hello fellow YouTubers, I'm Tracy Jo Kalin with Kalin's Crafting Studio, and in this video I'm going to do a review of my DreamBox by the original ScrapBox. Some of you may or may not be familiar with these craft cabinets and furniture that is offered by this company, but I had been eyeballing it for quite some time and finally pulled the trigger a few months ago, and it changed my life. So I'm going to show you the good, bad, and the ugly, but mostly the pretty awesome. So stay tuned because here we go. Okay, before we start, I just want to share something that was really special to me yesterday. So I went to Good Morning America to see the Struts for their summer concert series yesterday, and I got on TV because of my awesome shirt. So I wore it again for the video today. So this I made on my Cricut, and because you know I like to talk all things Cricut on this channel, and they saw it and they featured me on it, so I got a quick 30 seconds on there, which I thought was really fun. Not to mention the concert was pretty amazing too, so it was a lot of fun. So I just had to share that little bit of news. But anyway, so I've closed the cabinet right now. This cabinet starts out as an armoire, and you can leave it open or you can leave it closed depending on your particular situation. I do not like it closed in this room. My craft room here is roughly about a 15 by, I don't know, maybe it's not square, but maybe 15 by 13 size, or I don't know, it might be a little bit bigger than that, but regardless, I personally think it comes out from the wall too far, and I didn't like that about it. When I first got it, I was almost upset because I was very overwhelmed. So I mainly leave it open, and we'll get to that in just a second. But a couple things. So when you get it from a trucking company, and you have to schedule it for them to come to your house, and it comes in a massive crate. Now, I did not do the pre-built option, which they offer now. It just wasn't available when I was going to order it. I think it came out like 2 weeks later, and I was like, gosh, I wish I did that. But so you get a massive crate. The trucking company was nice enough to put it in my garage for me. What I chose to do is I opened the crate, and everything is bundled and sectioned, and it's all numbered from 1 through maybe 13, and there's a set of instructions that are taped to each one, so it's not quite so overwhelming when you're trying to put it together. In the beginning, it's going to be overwhelming no matter what, because you're going to have stuff everywhere, including all of the bins and totes and everything that come with it. But I just sort of separated that, put it in a separate room. And then in this room, I just cleared out this wall, flipped my furniture. I had to rearrange this entire room actually. So my desk used to be over here, which in some of my other videos, you probably see it looking a little bit different behind me. So in any event, I put it together in this room, and you just take it section by section at a time. It did take us 2 people 8 hours. So fortunately, my significant other was very nice about it. He didn't complain once, and he helped me, and we didn't even fight, which is unusual when your 2 people are putting furniture together, because men and women's minds just don't think the same way. But it was about an 8-hour project, and he helped me with the basic, and then I did all of the totes and the little inserts and the little clippies that hold them in there, which I'll show you in a second. But anyway, it's together, and I love it. So now that I'm used to it, it's fantastic, but I do leave it open all the time. So one of the things that I don't like about it is if it is closed, it doesn't want to stay completely closed. For whatever reason, it's on wheels, and it does sort of open a little bit here, and I can't just seem to get it to stay shut. Now, I don't know if they could have had some kind of magnet or something in there that would have helped that. I don't know, but it's not a big deal again because I don't leave it closed. And the other thing is, and some of you may or may not know this, it does not roll well over carpet. I do normally keep an area rug in here, but I took it out for the purposes of the video so I could show everybody. It's great on hardwood, no problem. So when you open it, you just pull out your sides, and there are little magnets here and here, which so when you fold it out, it adheres to that to keep it open. So now this is the side that I have my dies on. I did choose, there's an option that you can get some magnetic boards. I made the mistake of getting it for both sides. I got 2 sets, you get 2 pieces. There's one and there's another one. It's very sticky. Once you have it on there, you're not gonna be able to get it off. I wish I had not put it on that side because I could probably use that space for something else eventually, because I didn't have nearly as many dies as I thought I did. But it does work very nice for these little magnetic dies. Now, from what I understand, you should not use magnets on it. I don't even know if they stick. These did stick. These are, this is a little thing to make rosettes that's sort of magnetic, and that kind of stuck on there. I haven't really tried much else, but in any event, it flips around the back. Now, before I'm going to turn the crown light on, I did purchase the one that has a crown. I think it finishes it, and I really wanted the extra light that comes with it. One thing I don't like is that you have to go to the back, and it's just a wire that hangs down the back for you to be able to turn it on and off. So I don't know if that's a future improvement possibility or not, but it's not that big a deal. So I just go back here, there's a little switch, I flip it on, and voila, I have a light. So, and then when it opens, there's a magnet that it actually clicks into place. You can hear it kind of click into place. This side also clicks into place when you swing it back there. So again, this here has a magnet, and there's a magnet on the back on the other side. And you'll hear it. Kind of clicks into place. And then this side opens up here. Oh, my chair's a little bit in the way. So this is it, yay! And I usually generally leave it open all the time. So now the table. The table's interesting. I like it, I don't dislike it. I could see some future enhancements, but for now it works. When the unit is closed, it has to stay in this down position, so it folds down. If you want to open it, it pulls out like this, and it has the two heights that go with it. Now, you're supposed to put it in these little things here to be able to work with it for safety purposes. This side does not seem to want to line up the way it should. I sort of have to pull it up a little bit and work it in there, but it does, so it's like that. You will have to put your legs on here, and those just sort of pop into place. So you have two options for this. There's counter height, and then there's standard height, and then there's a drafting thing where you can put it kind of diagonal. I haven't really used that. I don't have a real purpose for it at this point in time. So if you leave your legs flat like this, which the legs extend, and I'll show that in a second, you just kind of pull it out for the standard height. And I always have a little trouble with the side, but nothing major. You pull it down. There's these little pieces of mechanics here that kind of slide the table back and forward depending on which position you're going to use it in. So for a counter height position, you sort of pull it out and set it down. Oops. And so now you can see I'm at standard height, and I can just take a regular chair. This is the chair from my desk. Sort of just roll over. You can sit on the ends. I have a TV up in that corner, so I tend to sit on this side and I work over here. But sometimes you don't want always to have it at this height. You do have more counter space if you put it at this height. I have a power strip that I put in here. I know they have been looking at adding power strips or doing something with newer versions that might offer that, but you know, I needed power to plug in some stuff because I want to keep my sewing machine plugged in all the time so I can just kind of pull it out. So that's mine, and I did add that. So now if you want to make it counter height, you have to pull it back up. Per the company, you should always put it in here. I don't always do that, I have to be honest, because I can kind of work with it without it in there, but I want to make sure I'm showing it the right way. So now these little legs pull out. What I don't necessarily like is the way that they pull out. They have these little push buttons, and if you turn it by accident, sometimes you can't find where the little push button is because it has to fit in 3 different ones. So you do want to be very careful when you're pulling it out that you try to keep it without turning the end, or you're going to lose that little hole and have a hard time finding it. So you kind of snap it down like that, and that's as far as it goes. Do the same thing on this side. 1, 2. It's not a big deal, but I have gotten it twisted and I couldn't find it. So now, when you pull it out of here, this time you leave this back portion upright. So this is going to stay upright instead of flipping forward. And you just gently set it down. So now I'm at counter height. And you can stand. I do have a little stool that I use. I even actually just keep this under here, but it's a pretty nice height for me to just be able to sit and work here, still watch my TV if I want to. And I tend to use it more at this height unless I'm quilting or something and I really need more space. I know that they have the side table option. For me, I think the side tables will be too much for this particular room because they come out way longer here and they would just be too big for my particular room. So having said all of that, all of the bins, love the bins, love the bins, love the bins. I was struggling with whether or not I wanted to keep mine clear and open or if I wanted to try to decorate them to match my craft room. And obviously I've opted for that and I went out and picked some papers. There's some templates that are floating around online. I do have them. I'll try to put a link below so you can have that template. One thing to note, these totes are 12, a little bigger than 12 by 12, so they comfortably fit 12 by 12 paper. I do have paper here. I also have paper racks on the other side of my room where I store most of my paper, but I have overflow because I got way too much paper, people. I have got to stop buying paper. I love paper. Anyway, these fit in here perfect. However, when you're trying to cut these for me, on my Cricut machine, they needed to be a little larger than a 12 by 12 piece of paper. So it didn't work. So what I did is I used Cricut Design Space and I sliced it in half and I just taped them together. So it cut in 2 pieces for the big totes, and then that worked just fine. And it just kind of, I don't do anything but just, whoops, slip it down in there. It's getting caught on my one little paper. If I hadn't taken it out, it would be fine, but it just slips right down in there like that. So now all of these smaller ones like these, super easy to just cut these on your Cricut, and you can, you get quite a few for these little side bins. What I like about these side bins is they have some dividers. They give you tons of dividers. I didn't even use all of the dividers that I have. I have a whole drawer sitting over there of different types of dividers, both for this size bin and for this size bin. I think these are called the shoebox size. Those are the large totes, and these are just these little small ones that go on the side. And they're great for stuff like, all your little beads or just tiny stuff that you never really quite know what to do with. So I have, as you can see, lots of stuff in those. It comes with these here, all of these. I guess there's 12 of those. I don't even have them all full, but I stuck some ribbon in them, just stuff that I had laying around. It's interesting because once you get it all together, then you just have to figure out how you want to organize it. And I organize and reorganize and reorganize. So I'm constantly moving stuff around here. I do love these. Unless I need to take one off, then it's kind of a little bit of a pain to get it off. You just well, it's not a pain. It's just all the rest of them might slide off, but that just sits in there. But if you're somebody that just needs to go up and cut a slice of ribbon off, these are perfect for you. I have on this side and that side. There's these little bins here. There's just so much room, and I do love these. There's little hooks on both sides where I hang all my tools. My Cricut tools are all over there. And one thing I found, I did get this. The ScrapBox, I believe it's called, and I do like it. It's not super full, but one thing I found, I don't know if I saved the box back here, I found these little markers, these little chalk markers that, if you want to label, you can just write on the front. See how I have written fabric paint, and you can just change it by wetting a paper towel or something and wipe it off. And I love them, and they come in different colors. They have a whole bunch of different colors. So some people are making formal little labels for the front of it. There's a million ways you can label your stuff. I will tell you, I can't find stuff sometimes after I put it in here until you kind of get used to going to the same spot and knowing where you put your stuff all the time. So it does, take some getting used to where you put everything. But up here, I just have some books with my dies. And all of these shelves are adjustable, so you do not have to use every shelf. You can take some out, and not Cricut, the original ScrapBox sells more shelves, and they have mini bins or trays that you can put in there. I don't have a need for them yet at this point, but I'm considering it down the road. And they also have the option where you can have some drawers that are here. They're not see-through, they're actually made with the material, and they have an actual drawer pull on the front of them. I did not want to lose that extra space because I knew I wanted to keep my sewing machine in here. So I chose not to get that option. But I love this thing. This has changed my life. It really has. I feel just so organized and so zen in this room, and yeah, it's fabulous. So the folks at Original ScrapBox, I really love my unit, and I like the idea that you're going to kind of keep coming out with things that'll work with the current ones. Some people have the workbox out there which doesn't have this adjustable table, and I believe the doors aren't quite as deep, but I love my DreamBox. So I think that pretty much covers it. Oh, well, before I go, down at the bottom, there's also a lot of other storage. I don't know if you can see in this video. Yeah, you can. There's a lot of other storage down here. So that's kind of where I keep, you know, bigger stuff, my easy presses and my scrap paper, and, you know, just some extra storage space. So you can put sewing machines down there. You could put a whole bunch of other stuff. You just really have to see if it's going to work for you, and customize it to your needs. So that's pretty much, that's my DreamBox, guys. So thank you for watching, and I hope you like this video. If you're thinking about getting one, I say go for it. I did. They're not cheap. They're not cheap. So I think overall this ended up being about $2,900 with all of the extras that I got, which was this and the crown. Sometimes they have sales, so you want to keep an eye out for those, because they do sometimes throw in a crown for free or something like that. But I put it on PayPal credit and got it interest free for 6 months, and that's how I chose to do it. So there's a lot of options. They have their own financing that they offer as well, and if you can afford it, which I know a lot of people can't, or save your pennies for it, I highly recommend it if you have a place in your house that you want to save space. And this could be in a bedroom and you want to keep it closed all the time, and it's just your little zen space when you want it to be there. But I am fortunate enough that I have a designated craft area that I just keep it open all the time. So, okay, everybody have a great day, and give this video a thumbs up if you liked it, and subscribe to my page and share it with all your friends. And that's it. Happy crafting. See you next time.